G'day, my name's Darryl Webb, and today we're going to have a bit of a quick comparison between the TH50 version 2 and the new TS60. I've been using the TH50 there for nearly 12 months now, and I've only had this for about a week and a half. So you have to bear that in mind, but I've definitely got to know the 50 very well. TS60 is a little bit new to me, but they're very similar as in their usage. So we'll get into straight away, because we'll keep it a short video. We'll show you some of the differences. The TS60, as you can see, is a slightly bigger scope, as in for its length. Its width is definitely a bit wider, because it does take 18 650 batteries instead of 18 500s as a secondary battery. And obviously with the 60mm lens, it's jumped up a fair bit in the size of the head. I don't know, you can sort of see that there. It's a lot fatter and definitely a bit longer. So for physical parts, that's pretty much it. Everything is very, very similar to use. The mount is different. The supplied is a one-piece mount in that. I really do like that mount. I'd love to have it for the TH50, but it comes with the TS60. So yeah, physical, pretty similar to use. They've made the zoom dial a little bit nicer on the 60. The way it goes, 1 2 3 4 5 6, you know, sort of just goes up in 1 times increments. This one's much finer, and they've added a nice little just a ring holder there, and the cap has changed slightly. Everyone sort of said that's an improvement. I think I actually prefer the old one. So yeah, that's it. This one's sub 18 millicalbin, this one's sub 25. The big difference is this one's got that large core, that 1280 or whatever it is core. It's pretty much 4 times the pixels in the TS60 as what it is in the TH50. And as I said, sub 18 millicalbin. So the big part everyone's going to want to know is when you're using it, how does it sort of perform? Well, at the end of this clip, I'll put some side-by-side comparisons at the same time so you can actually see for yourself. This one's 2 times base mag, the TS60, and the TH50 is 3.5 times base mag. Now, if you bring this into that 3 or 4, there's actually no 3.5. If you bring in the 3 or 4, people sort of worked it out themselves that they should be pretty similar to this, as in pixel count. Now, I'm not quite sure how it works out. To me, my math says it'll still be double the pixels at sort of 4 times zoom, as what this has at 3.5. In real world use, I would say if you wind them up a little bit higher, like where you would actually use them at, maybe 6 times zoom and that, you know, something's a further out distance, I would find that I'm definitely getting more information to this lovely screen. As in for identification, I would say by identifying by shapes, the nice sharp outside edges, you know, difference between male and female roos, maybe foxes, bigger animals, even some of the small animals, there's about 25% further distance in identification range, I would say. For some size animals, maybe it's more. Smaller animals, I definitely think it's more. It's maybe 50 to 60% further identification range. Bigger animals, it's probably not quite so, not as much difference. But I would say that, yeah, easily. So average size animals, you know, maybe it's sheep size, you know, so sheep, pigs, things like that. I would say with the TS60, with that extra, just the extra resolution that it has, you know, 4 times as many pixels, yeah, I'm saying at least 25% difference. I can see. I'll give you an example. To see something like a fox, so he's sort of like small to medium, I would say I identify these, I can clearly, without seeing his movement, I can probably see, identify him by shape and details like in the tail and the head and the legs. I can probably do that to about 300 on this, further by going by his movement. This one I'd say at least 400, so there is definitely that jump up. Zoom, I find on this, doesn't really give me much extra detail by zooming in. It just makes it easier to get your crosshairs on, makes the target bigger. This guy, the zoom is actually worth using, because at 2 times base mag, there's heaps of details there, but you can actually wind into about 5 or 6, I found, and all of a sudden that detail is still getting, you're seeing more detail as you come in because of the magnification. Just there's enough detail there to actually benefit by zooming in. So yeah, that's pretty much it. The other thing I sort of found was, I use the FH35R rangefinder, and I found something that hasn't happened to me before when I use this one. I seen, for instance, some hares the other night. This is just a quick example, and I could physically see, I zoomed in a long way because they were miles off, but I could physically see them running around what they were doing, and I could actually see like the separate legs and things like that. And I'm like, oh, okay, and the ear size. I'm like, that's hares. I wonder how far that is, because they looked a long way off. Zooming in, I could see that they were hares. I tried to range them, and it was a clear night. There was no fog or anything like that, and I couldn't get a range on them. So for the first time, I've actually had it where I'm IDing stuff, small animals, and I was too far for the rangefinder to hit in my FH35R. Now there were some trees that were just near them. I did actually later on, off camera, I did actually move over to the trees and got a range on them, and they were 560 something meters. So that was, the trees were actually a bit closer. They could have been nearly another 100 meters past that. So between 560, 660 meters, I was actually able to ID hares by actually still seeing their ears. Not perfectly, but I could just tell their ears are a bit bigger than rabbits, and I couldn't get a range on them. That's never happened with this one. With this one, I'd be able to see them, but they'd be very small dots, and I wouldn't get, I could probably tell that they're moving, but I wouldn't be able to see it very well, and there's definitely no way I'd actually be able to ID them. I wouldn't be able to tell if they were a fox who had his head down looking around for something, or a hare. I just wouldn't be able to tell that difference, but with this I could. So the TS60 definitely has that win. The price. So which one should you buy? This is 100% a financial question for yourself. If you use them a lot, and you really want the best thermal experience, I would say, I think this is around $10,000, $9,999 Australian at the moment. This is the one to buy. But if you're shooting realistic distances and you're shooting fox-sized animals and that, this guy at 6,500 Australian, you won't really feel you're missing out on much. The image in this is still fantastic. I'm still very happy to use this. Did get a little bit spoilt using the TH60. It is definitely nice to have that extra, not extra resolution, it's a tiny bit extra thermal power. Plus all that resolution, it definitely made a nice experience for sure. So if you can afford this, you know, and you want the best external experience, or you're someone you're going to justify it because you're using it, you know, lots and lots, this is better. By all means, it's better. But this is pretty damn good still. At closer ranges, when something comes in close, especially if you're using black hot, you see a lot of detail in the animal, you know, its fur and all that. Realistically, I think it's the same again. It's about that 25% further with the TS60. You'll get that effect, but it's still quite close. That disappears sort of within 100 meters, maybe 75 meters with this. And you're still then, after that, you're going by the outside shape. So that's about it. Yeah, which one's better? It depends. It depends on your financial situation. You're not going to feel terrible about having this guy. This is still a fantastic scope, but this one is definitely a bit of a step up. It's a step up in price, it's a step up in resolution in the sensor, and it's definitely a step up a little bit of thermal power with the 60mm lens. So that's it. If you like this video, please hit the subscribe button and give it a thumbs up. Actually, if you've seen any hunting content that you like, YouTube's been really hard on hunting content at the moment. Give them a subscribe, even if it's hunting content that you don't watch very often. You know, you might be a duck shooter and all of a sudden you go once in a blue moon deer hunting. So you look at a deer hunting video. So it might not be something you want to watch all the time. Give them a thumbs up on their videos. Mine too, hopefully. And hit the subscribe button on their channels, because YouTube's just having a bit of a crackdown on anything to do with firearms at the moment. I did an unboxing video on this. I didn't mention a gun, you didn't see a gun. It got put to limited monetization. Now, it's not about money. You don't get bugger all money on YouTube anyway on small channels like mine. But what it is about is YouTube doesn't recommend videos that are what they call either unmonetized or limited to monetization. You'll literally see your video climbing up. I put up some shorts the other night, like 15,000 views in the first 12 hours. Then it got limited monetization and it just flatlined. So unfortunately we don't get spread, but YouTube, the algorithm knows likes and thumbs up and subscriptions. So it doesn't cost you nothing to subscribe. So if you can, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Do it for all the shooting content, because otherwise I fear that a lot of the people who are putting time into shooting channels are just probably going to give it away, do something else. Anyway, on that note, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button if you want to see more like this, and I will catch you next time. Bye for now. Okay, this is the TS60. This is not mounted on a firearm at all. This is just on a tripod, so nothing dangerous here. Now we're looking at a scene. The house at the centre of the screen there is at 550 metres, and there's kangaroos out here, probably from about 200 metres out to pretty much 500 metres. Wide scene. Okay, so this is base mag. This is 3x zoom. This is 4x zoom. Now we'll go up to probably where I use them in the most. I'll probably go up to about 7. I'll probably typically go up to about 7. And if I've got picture-in-picture on, that gives me a 14 times little window at the top of the screen there, and lets me go for a very close shot. There's good detail here on this TS60. I'll take it up to 14. That's about the max that I get if I'm using like the TH50. I think that's all it goes to, 14. But I wouldn't very often shoot at this range, at this magnification. And then the TS60 can go all the way up to 16. So that is the detail at 16 times zoom at 550 metres to that house. And the kangaroos on the right hand side there, that's they're probably around 500 metres. So even on 16 times zoom, you can still see their head moving around, you can see their legs, and you can see their front legs even a little bit on that one on the left, and his tail. Pretty impressive.